Yeah, I just booked a flight fully home on the red eye, nigga. Yeah, on the mission. Fly nigga in the backseat. 2 bad bitches.
For that, you know, to happen, just got to keep our head down and keep on working. But you're tuned into the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother, Old God, and SamAnt sitting across the table from me today. If you're enjoying the podcast today, hit that 5-star rating and don't forget to subscribe. All right, man. Our man, Black Youngsta.
Yeah, man.
He was riding through Houston. I guess it was yesterday, and he was pretty much arrested. Now, the backstory is he was driving. They got pulled over. The cops smelled marijuana. You know, once they smell the marijuana, they're going to want to search the vehicle. And what they found inside the car was 3 pistols, marijuana, and ammunition that was reportedly on Black Youngsta. That's pretty much it for that story. It is felony charges. And right now, I haven't heard any word about him being released or getting bail or anything. So in Texas, Black Youngsta, what you think about this story, SamAnt?
I think that isn't a gun. How the gun laws in Texas? You can be strapped up out there, right?
But you gotta have a license. Yeah.
You can be strapped up out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a rapper. I'm a pretty famous rapper. I've seen the history behind what's going on with rappers nowadays. Let me just drive around unstrapped and unprotected and just say fuck it.
Yeah.
And just let somebody who's legally allowed to carry a gun or I don't know if they're going to pull the papers out right then and there, but they're legally allowed to have one without motherfuckers pulling up on them necessarily and causing any real attention. Just go ahead and do what they do to me and let me go ahead and be out of here.
Right.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why doesn't he have security doing it, this or that? Yeah, I agree with you. I can hear you on that. But sometimes security ain't the fuck around. We all remember that with Nipsey. God rest his soul.
Yes.
I'm not mad at him in this situation. I understand now he has to sit in jail, but you got lawyers, you got money. Hopefully they doing what they got to do to get you the fuck up out of there so that you can live to see another day. I ain't mad at him for living to see another day. Yeah.
And it's like you got guys like Nipsey, Chink Drugs, so many people. And then even with that, like you can still be caught out there. It's not, but I'll rather, have it than not having that situation. And another aspect to this is like, just because these dudes is on the camera smiling and they got these jewels and they ain't these mansion, these is hood niggas at the end of the day, a lot of them. So, hood niggas, they know that, look, especially you in another city somewhere, he's not from fucking Houston. He's not from Texas. I need to be prepared. I need to ride heavy around this motherfucker. And if it means the cops are going to pull me over, hey, now the marijuana thing, that's different. We know we want to smoke our weed and shit, but me personally, I would never, if I was driving around with a legal weapon in a car, I would just refrain. Everything would have to be clean. I would refrain from smoking weed because I already know you might as well just get prepared to go to jail. Yeah. You know what's going to happen. So could move a little smarter with that aspect of it. But again, we not going to get mad at these rappers for rolling around with heat because people are trying to take their fucking head off anytime they can.
That was a good point you made about the weed. Now you can he probably wasn't going far enough to where he couldn't have waited or weed wasn't available where he was going. You got to move smarter, especially if you're out here trying to protect yourself now. Thank God if you were in a situation where, God forbid, you needed it, you had it. But you don't want to deal with the cops and all that bullshit. Now you sitting in jail and you ultimately probably aren't going to do any time. We have to spend a lot of fucking money not to.
Right.
And unnecessary time to deal with it. So hopefully he learns from it. He doesn't sit down too long. And you got to move smarter.
Yeah, no word on how long. I would think, 5, 10, depending on the gun laws down there, but we will see. We'll keep you updated on Black Youngsta's little situation that he's having. I want to talk about this situation, SamAnt, with Tekashi. Has been another development now. 9 Trey Bloods member Christian Cruz, aka CEO Chris, he's the latest person to testify in the Tekashi case. So pretty much he was saying that in 2015 he worked his way up to a 5-star general and he had a close relationship to Mel Murder. That was the guy who was on the tape with Jim Jones and Shadi the other day they put out. Now, he said he estimated earning between $2 and $3 million selling heroin and fentanyl. Here's the crazy part of his testimony. Cruz testified that former NYPD Sergeant Arlisha Robinson helped him distribute drugs. He said at the time, Robinson was dating a friend of Cruz who was assigned to a housing bureau in Brooklyn that covered 22 projects in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Crazy situation here. I'm not surprised though when I hear this, because like we were talking, about the story in the pre-production meeting. A lot of these cops, not all of them, are distributing dirty pigs. I just got to say that. But what do you think about this? CEO Chris testifies, you know, in the Tekashi trial that cops actually helped him distribute drugs, and he was a 9-Trey blood member as well.
Not surprised at all. It doesn't surprise me in the least bit. See, a lot of people, especially a lot of Americans, right? They get so upset when you talk about cops being dirty or this or that, not understanding what blacks have to go through in the inner city or just driving or just living, walking day to day. It's something that they shield themselves from. They see the blue uniform and a nice shiny hat and the protect and serve and the blue. And yeah, we would all love to live under those dreams and daydreams and just fairy tales. But the reality is some of them motherfuckers without uniforms on, with the little thin little chain, with the badge on their fucking chest, that's kicking in your door, beating the shit out of you, and then taking all your bread. Oh yeah, those are the ones that you got to worry about. Those are the boogeymen. Those are the real gangsters out here running the streets. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen cocaine, heroin, or anything like that get made in the projects.
Never.
I've never seen it get bust in. It has to be imported. When the last time you seen a fucking ocean in the hood?
Yeah.
So who's bringing it in?
Right.
Who's bringing it in? Ask yourself that in your comfortable little neighborhood, feeling safe and not wanting to deal with the animals. Somebody had to bring the shit in.
It was law enforcement.
It had to be.
It had to be, because remember, Consu was making that point, the brother that we work very closely with over here. It's like no street dude is going to be going to these ports and shit, and he'll be fucking caught easily with all this technology. It has to be some type of law enforcement, some crooked, dirty fucking cop that's, you know, controlling the drug trade, that's going to get it, dropping it off in the hood. And he got some motherfucker that he probably knows that's supposedly one of the generals or the kingpins that he has a relationship with. And then when they get ready, they get rid of him, whether they get him killed or locked up, and they put somebody else in that position. We know the fucking game.
It's crazy. Game.
Yeah.
And it's a setup game. It's a rigged game. And that's why people will tell you that's doing time. A lot of time will tell you don't even get in the game. But it's not easy. You're sitting there and you got these cards dealt to you and it's all fucked from the beginning. And then you got like Meek Mill's story we was just talking about. And I was just watching the Central Park, not the Central Park, but the Exonerated Five. And we'll get into that in the next segment. But they don't play fair for us out here, in particular in the inner cities where they're already kind of like, it's like a feeding nest for them just to go in there and get free labor. Go ahead and put us back under the 13th Amendment. Give us free assistance, keep us blinded, keep us just deaf to what we really can achieve out here, and just pick our boys apart and then pick our ladies apart without even having any kind of backlash because the men are in jail or gone. It's set up, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this is the good thing about social media, because it's starting to bring a lot of attention to the bullshit.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. Yeah,
it's a great thing, man, with the independent media like us and other people that are putting these stories out and putting these people on blast who need to be put on blast. And this time it just happens to be the some officers in the NYPD. Not surprised by the situation. And I like this. It's almost like Frank Lucas. A lot of people didn't like that he snitched, but they did like that he was turning in cops and everything and saying, look, a lot of these crooked ass cops was dirty. So I don't have a problem with this dude, you know, turning in dirty cops, because it's just a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people like try to like throw that notion under the rug that a cop could actually be crooked and dirty, but you see it right here in many more instances. So we just got to keep our head on the swivel and be careful dealing with these cops out here, man. Definitely.
Facts. And just to kind of jump into the next segment, Eddie Griffin. Now, he said some things about Donald Trump, and I know we really don't get into the politics over here.
Right.
You don't know if he's Republican, Democrat. We ain't none of that shit. You know what I mean? But he said some real good things, or some interesting things. I'll say we'll elaborate on. But I was watching When They See Us, I believe it's called. I'm sorry, but it was about the Exonerated Five, the brothers that were convicted of. We know the horrific crimes they were convicted of. I ain't gonna say the word right now, but you already know.
Yeah.
Unjustly, didn't do anything. DNA evidence. All the stories, nothing had been matched. You had the NYPD keeping these young boys behind bars, unfed, couldn't use the bathroom, couldn't go to sleep for hours on end, to kind of manipulate them into saying something that they didn't do, sitting behind bars between 7 and 14 years. Corey Wise, a brother that didn't even fit descriptions of anybody who involved in the situation, went there for his friend, ended up